All right, welcome back. Today, we are going to talk about a name that you've almost definitely heard floating around the office, ServiceNow. But here's the deal. What you probably think it is, well, that's not even half the story. It's just the tip of a massive iceberg.
So let's just cut right to the chase and clear things up. The big question is, what is ServiceNow, really? Well, sometimes it's easier to start with what something isn't. And it's not just a tool for filing IT tickets. I mean, if the only time you've ever used ServiceNow is to ask for a new mouse or complain that your laptop's running slow, then you've only seen a tiny, tiny fraction of what it can do.
Yeah, this is what I like to call the ServiceNow misconception. Look, tons of people know it as the go-to digital help desk, and hey, for good reason. It's fantastic at that job. But focusing only on that one thing, it just completely misses the point. It undersells this massive, powerful engine that's actually running things behind the scenes across the whole company.
Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, let's take a step back. Let's think about the old way of doing things at work. Picture a process, something super common but also kind of complicated, like onboarding a new hire. How did that actually happen back in the day?
Honestly, it was just organized chaos. Bringing on one new person would set off this crazy chain reaction of totally separate tasks. You've got an email flying over to HR, and they're busy updating some spreadsheet. Then someone has to make a phone call to facilities to make sure there's a desk. A totally different ticket gets sent to IT for a laptop. And all along the way, a manager has to hunt down and manually sign off on everything. It was just this jumbled mess of different tools. And you know what that leads to, right? Delays, mistakes, and absolutely no one having a clue where things actually stood.
So the big shift, the solution, is to stop seeing all those things as separate little tasks. You have to see them for what they really are, a single connected workflow. And that, right there, that's the whole key. ServiceNow isn't about managing tasks. It's a platform built for managing workflows. All right, so here's the more official way to put it. ServiceNow is a cloud-based enterprise workflow platform that automates, manages, and orchestrates operations across all business functions. Whoa, that's a mouthful. But the two words you really got to latch onto are platform, because it's the foundation for everything, and workflow, which is the actual process that gets built on top of that foundation. And this is where it gets really interesting when you think about just how big this idea is. This quote really says it all. The goal is to be a single source for workflows. And we're not just talking about IT stuff. We're talking human workflows, service workflows, HR, customer support. I mean, you name it. If it's a repeatable process in a business, the idea is that it can run on this platform. Okay, so enough with the theory, right? Let's dive in and look at some real, concrete examples. This will show you just how far ServiceNow's reach goes, way beyond the IT department. This table lays it out so clearly. Take HR, for example. It can handle that entire onboarding workflow we were just talking about, from start to finish. Or look at asset management. It's tracking every laptop, every software license, everything. And for IT operations, and notice I said operations, not just the help desk, it's actively monitoring the health of all the company's systems to catch problems before they even happen. It goes even further, handling external customer support cases, and maybe coolest of all, it lets teams build their own custom apps for things like finance or facilities, whatever they need. And the key is, it's all happening in one place. So if you're going to remember one phrase, make it this one: enterprise-wide workflow orchestration. Think of it like the digital connective tissue for a company. It's what links the people, the different departments, and all that data that used to be stuck in its own little silo. It brings it all together into one single smart system. And when you actually get that level of connection working, you start to build something we could call the unified enterprise. That's really the end game here, a place where work doesn't get stuck, it just flows. So what does that actually look like? What's the effect? Well, first up is centralization. Say goodbye to that chaotic mess of emails and spreadsheets. Everything is in one spot. Next, you get automation. All those boring, repetitive tasks, they get automated, which, by the way, slashes the number of human errors. Then there's visibility. This is huge. For what might be the first time ever, leaders can actually see in real time how work is getting done across the entire organization. And finally, you get standardization. Processes aren't random anymore. They become consistent, super efficient, and you can actually measure them. So I want to leave you with this one big thought to chew on. Just for a second, forget about the IT tickets. Instead, ask yourself this:
What if all the work in your company, I'm talking everything from the simplest request to the most massive, complex project, what if it all just flowed seamlessly on one single smart platform? Think about it.